大家好，欢迎来到电影娱乐报，我是主持人陈巧玲。今天为大家带来的新片是《移动迷宫》的最终篇章《死亡解药》。这部改编自科幻小说的系列电影，前2集呢已经在全球创下了台币198亿的惊人票房。而这一集男主角呢将会带着他的伙伴们深入敌营来拯救明豪，并且呢解开一切的谜团。片中主要的几位演员呢魅力早已风靡全球，不过这次的幕后特辑就特别找出了他们几年前试镜时候的青涩模样。虽然好像有点挫挫的，但是导演一看就知道找对人了。除了男主角迪伦当时差一点被淘汰之外，到底发生什么事呢？精彩幕后特辑一起欣赏吧。
What is this place? Who put us here? We don't know.
What if we were sent here for a reason?
You're so close to the truth. Don't you want to know why this all happened?
3 years we spent behind walls trying to break out, and now we want to break back in. I get shotgun.
You can't save everyone, Thomas.
I can try. When the hell does it stop?
It stops when we find a cure.
There is no cure! Hang on!
Thomas, you can save your friends, or you can save us all.
Yon O'Brien. Hi, my name is Ki-Hong Lee. Thomas Brody Sangster.
Them, that's them. You just kind of know it right off the bat, with the exception of one person, Dylan, or Thomas.
I was just coming from work when I first read for the role, so I had like all spiky gelled up hair, and I've actually seen the footage. It looks ridiculous.
We found something. Do we think it could be a way out?
Whatever you did made it go haywire.
No, I'm telling you, we found the way out.
So maybe it's time we start doing things a little differently, you know?
He put his hair down, and suddenly he was Thomas. Dylan is the reason we have this franchise.
We stick together. We get out now, or we die trying.
As soon as I came on, I remember saying, it's Kaya, it should be Teresa.
Did you think you got the part?
No. No.
She's this picture of the girl in my head when I read those books.
I'm never like I nailed this, ever. I walked out of it probably crying and eating a McDonald's straight after to make myself feel better.
You were there.
Where?
On the other side, you were a programmer.
No. It can't be true.
Just a feeling I have, like something didn't go as they planned.
Got her.
I just remember calling my agent and being like, this is the worst day. I had the worst audition of my life.
Dude, what do you see?
It's a girl. And then the next day I get called and she's like, so have you Maze Runner? And I was like, yeah, it was awful. And she was like, well, they want to make you an offer.
Check it out, dude.
What the hell does that mean? One audition, then a long period of time, and then, yeah, you got it.
His audition was good. Like, there was something very magnetic about him.
Listen, that was some dash you made this morning.
And then for a second, I thought you had the chops to be a runner, till you face plant.
That was great.
You were there with him. What do you think?
Can't decide if you're really brave or really stupid.
Whatever it is, we need more of it.
He was perfect.
I owe this whole experience to him.
It'll be fun to go back and see how we've all kind of grown.
I've freaking lucked out on casting.
That's one thing about Maze Runner. I can say that it's just been a really, really incredible experience.
Deep down, I just felt like we were making something that was going to be really cool. I just feel like Wes understood the language. He created it, you know? He understood the world. No one works harder than him, you know? And he's truly special.
Wes brings consistency, first of all. I think it's so rare to have a director do all 3 movies in a franchise, and that is so wonderful because he knows the story inside out. He knows the rhythm, he knows the aesthetic that he wants. He's been thinking about this for 4 years, and that's really valuable. And also, as an actor, it's wonderful to work with a director who's consistent because he knows how I work.
Basically all of our characters in this one kind of set piece and kind of see the role they all have to play. We wanted to kind of get that sense across that they are a tight-knit team that were going to have to, go up against this Goliath of Wicked and their security forces and all that stuff. So, that was our first little kind of introduction to what they're capable of now, having left them on the previous movie, where they've basically spent most of their time since the Glade running away, dodging obstacles, sliding under doors, whatever it is. But this time it's about going back and bringing the fight to them. And they're not going to win over with might, with numbers. They're going to win through, cleverness and, and their wit, so, and their kind of courage, I guess. So we want to kind of demonstrate that really up front on a really cool, kind of fun action way.
It's not an easy job. So to accomplish all three and to have each one be adored by our fans is wonderful. I think it's great.
There's going to be a lot of action from the beginning, as always, and also I think it's gonna wrap up the story and the franchise pretty nicely. And I think Wes is doing a good job of doing that. And there will be some surprises and twists and turns along the way, but I think everybody's in for a great ride.
3 years we spent trying to break out. And now we want to break back in. I get shotgun.
You can't save everyone, Thomas.
I can try.
You can save your friends, or you can save us all.
He believes, I think, in the very beginning of the movie that that Wicked is evil, and that there is no cure in the world, and that all he's really focused on is reuniting his family and setting off to greener pastures somewhere where he can be left alone. And of course, as he sets off to go find his friend, those ideas are going to be challenged completely and possibly even changed. And Teresa is a big part of that.
When we first meet Thomas, we're meeting a scared and fragile, vulnerable kid in a way. This little scared animal in a cage. And it takes him a little bit too. In that first film, I've always thought it was such a cool coming-of-age arc of this kid discovering that he has this leadership in himself, and that this drive that he can kind of put these kids on his back and get them out of there. And with that, though, comes a lot of responsibility and a lot of wear and tear. He really takes every loss that they go through to an extremely personal level. And now the Thomas that we see in the third film, you're seeing a very weathered person, who's been through a lot, has felt everything, and still considers it his job to protect these people.
No, come on.
Someone to get this door open.
Yes, sir.
Any ideas?
Maybe.
Okay, it's doable. Just need a little running start.
Sure about this? Not really. Nice pep talk.
Yeah, I'm bloody inspired.
Newt was the second character he ever met in the first movie. He was the first person he bonded with. Newt was the guy that kind of showed him the ropes around the world of the Glade. So they've always been this really great pair to each other, where while Dylan, or the Thomas character, is kind of headstrong and brave and courageous, and is always kind of jumping forward whenever is needed. Newt is the character who is thoughtful and thinks things through first, and is the quiet leader behind the scenes, essentially. We always kind of described it as kind of, he was the second in command on the Glade. He was kind of the mother of the group, essentially. He's always taking care of them, making sure everything was done properly. Whereas as Thomas has always been a little reckless, essentially. And so the two characters kind of work really well together. And so in this third movie, when they've kind of teamed up now to go rescue their friend Minho, they make a great fighting pair together.
And he was just wonderful to work with as a colleague, as an actor. He was really giving, really vulnerable as well, which is kind of hard for men a lot of times, especially when they're auditioning with a woman. They kind of sometimes get a little bit insecure about that, whereas Dylan was completely open, and we worked on the scene together, and it kind of just worked. It flew by. It was wonderful.
The time that we all had together on that first movie, I mean, it's irreplaceable, and the time that we've had on all of them, we'll never get it back. We'll always be in each other's lives, we will. I've made friends for life, but there's something special about that time on set, it's like you're never really spending 16 hours every day, and then you're going home to the same hotel with them as well. Like, it's literally a 24-hour constant thing, and we all just voluntarily did that. We all just genuinely loved one another so much and had so much fun hanging out that we just never left each other alone, I guess, which is really cool, and was always a part of what made this so special. And I feel like you feel that on screen too. We were all just so pumped to be with one another. We all had such tremendous respect for one another.
I couldn't be luckier without this cast. I mean, it's like they're just perfect. They're this little wonderful little family unit. Even off camera, they're friends to this day, and that chemistry, it shows up on screen.
They took you because you're immune to a plague that's wiping out the human race. They think you're worth sacrificing to find a cure.
They'll never stop. So we're gonna stop them.
The last city.
That's where we're going. 3 years we spent behind walls trying to break out. Now we're trying to break back in. All right, I get shotgun.
There's no guarantee we make it back from this.
Well, we started this together. May as well end it that way, too.
Thomas, you can save your friends. Or you can save us all.
继续回到电影娱乐报，这一次介绍的新片是《移动迷宫3部曲》当中的完结篇，而3部作品呢都是出自同一位导演之手，所以风格是相当的一致。而在幕后花絮里呢，也曝光了一些拍摄的场景，像是明豪被鬼火兽追击的片段。不过，如果你有点忘记或是不知道前2集的内容都没有关系，因为主要的演员们要挑战在90秒内呢把故事说给你听，非常的精彩哦，一起来看看吧。
What is this place? Who put us here? We don't know.
What if we were sent here for a reason?
You're so close to the truth. Don't you want to know why this all happened?
3 years we spent behind walls trying to break out, and now we want to break back in. I get shotgun.
You can't save everyone, Thomas.
I can try.
When the hell does it stop?
It stops when we find a cure.
There is no cure! Hang on!
Thomas, you can save your friends, or you can save us all.
You've got hundreds of people, hundreds of artists and craftsmen, actors and painters and, set designers and, a DP and all these different people that come in that contribute creatively to a project. And it's just really my job just keep steering that to push it towards that spot that you're aiming toward.
3, 2, 1, go!
I mean, it's one of my favorite things about these films is the aesthetic of it, that they are so unique, and that's just so cool to see so many different feels of a place in one story. This one, again, is totally different. We are in basically the last city, the last surviving urban utopia. And it kind of looks like a really great place to live on the surface. Everyone is still going to work. There's running transport. There's electricity. And then you start to see, just on the outskirts, the reality of what the majority of the population are living as. So we get to kind of, there's a bit of a Scorched Trials feel to it as well, especially at the beginning. And then we're suddenly transported into what is essentially the lost city, the last place where you can kind of, see an urban metropolis.
It's a do-or-die kind of situation, I think, especially for Thomas. I think it's either we get Mino and come back or we die trying. So it's a pretty impossible mission, too, because you got to infiltrate one of the most secured locations, and you're going into the enemy's house to get your loved one out. And so the stakes are high, and it should translate into some crazy action sequences and heart-pounding moments.
In the third movie, I have some great scenes with Ki Hong, actually, which was really exciting to shoot because he's such a talented actor. And we have a really, really great scene together. It's just the two of us in a room. So it was interesting to get to explore that dynamic because, again, we haven't really seen that before.
I think the movie fans will be happy. If they like the first two movies, they're going to love this movie. It's probably the best one, probably. It has the emotion and the personal kind of stakes of the first movie, and it has the scope and scale of the second movie, all wrapped up into this third one where the story finally comes to an end. We get all the answers we've been looking for. We wrap up all the storylines and the different character threads between all the different characters in the movies. So I'm hoping that the movie fans will be happy with how we end this series.
Yeah, reuniting on each one every time it's hilarious. It's just really exciting. Like I turn into like a little kid again in a way, you know, because we've all gone on to, in between these films, we've had years of, you know, growing up. You know, we're in our mid to late 20s now, most of us, all of us, and I find myself kind of becoming that little, you know, my little crazy, like, energetic self who sprinted up to Thomas the first day I saw him in the production office on the first one, you know, and just wanted to meet him so bad, you know. And just that excitement that we all kind of, an energy that we all created with each other, you know, in the first movie, that just kind of snaps right back in, I guess. I don't know. As soon as I see everyone again, I'm just like, I turn into a person I only am with them, in a way. It's really cool, and I'm gonna miss that, you know?
The character of Teresa, who Kaya plays, she's always been, for me, probably the most interesting story arc of the movies. She's always the character that kind of, you know, has redemption, basically, to have. I mean, that's really powerful stuff if you can earn it. And so, yeah, there's something strong about a character who's willing to think about the greater good, even if it means sort of, you know, hurting the ones you love, which is, you know, that's not an easy thing to do. Not everyone make that choice, by the way.
She genuinely had a realization, and she had to trust her own instincts. And what I tried to do with her, especially in Scorched Trials, was have a very slow build-up of this feeling that things aren't right and that she needs to do something different. It wasn't like, you know, she wakes up one morning and decides, I'm going to betray you all. This is something that's been playing on her mind, and that she feels like she has nowhere to turn with it. She knows that Thomas is firmly against anything like that. So it's a personal thing for her. I don't think she sees it as a betrayal, because I think she genuinely knows that she does love them and that she wants them to be safe just as much as anyone else. And she wants them to be okay, but she just knows that she can see it in a different light.
So, let's do a quick recap.
The last two movies.
In 90 seconds.
Or less. You ready? The Maze Runner is about a group of boys who are trapped in a designated area called the Glade,
surrounded by giant walls and surviving on supplies sent up by the box that's once a month by a cryptic entity called Wicked.
Wicked is good.
And in the maze are these things called grievers. Once a month, a new boy comes. This month, it happens to be this kid named Thomas.
Only a select few runners are allowed beyond the walls.
But Thomas breaks that rule
to save their leader, Albie, and Mina by killing a griever.
Thomas goes all Mission Impossible style and bolts in and saves the three of them.
Suddenly,
a gal named Teresa comes up in the box
and recognizes Thomas.
Thomas!
Like, I got this.
The girl comes out, she's like, I know Thomas. Thomas is like, I know you.
And a struggle for power ensues when the second-in-command, Newt, designates Thomas a runner.
Thomas is a revelation that Wicked is using them as a test subject and that he used to actually work for them.
Bastards.
And he leads a group through the maze where they uncover a secret laboratory
and learn of Dr. Ava Page, Wicked's director of operations.
And a deadly virus called the Flare that has ravaged the Earth.
We learn from Ava that the experiment was a success.
Survivors are now entering phase 2, the Scorched Trials.
So in the Scorch trials, we all are out in this designated area called the Scorch, where this fire's called the flare, and things turning into cranks.
The remaining Gladers, Thomas, Newt, Minho, Teresa, Frypan, and Winston,
are taken to a wicked facility
run by Mr. Jansen.
It looks like he's on Game of Thrones,
who is supposedly protecting them from cranks zombies created by the flare virus,
but it's actually just a way for Wicked to continue their experiments
on the immune kids and find a cure for themselves.
Thomas meets a survivor, Eris.
And with the group, they escape to the outside world. The Scorch.
Where they befriend Brenda and Jorge.
Jorge looks like he's on Breaking Bad.
I'm sorry, hermano. Looks like you're tagged.
And learn of the resistance called the Right Arm. Thank you.
Next thing you know, Ava Page comes in. Teresa betrays us because she called Ava Page on her cell phone and was like, I got him.
So Minho is captured. Oh no.
And the next thing you know, they take Eris.
Thomas
And the remaining Gladers
vow to join forces
with a right arm.
Rescue their friends.
What? Topple Wicked.
Find Death Cure.
That's a lot.
Okay.
That's enough now.
That's all I got, man.
以上呢就是《移动迷宫》最终完结篇，而导演说这可能会是3集当中最棒的一篇，也推荐给大家喽。我是巧玲，电娱乐报，我们下次再见喽，拜拜。